according to the signs in the skies. Spoken word press production. According to the signs in the skies. Copyright 2020 by Linda D. Brown. Spoken word press, St. Louis, Missouri. This is available for sale in ebook format and video at booksbylynda.com. Copyright disclaimer. Okay. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. The prophecy has been fulfilled. 1619 to 2019, 400 years over. God said to Abram, "Know this, your descendants will live as outsiders in a land not theirs. They'll be enslaved and beaten down for 400 years. Then I'll punish their slave masters." That's God's vengeance. "Your offspring will march out of there loaded with plunder." That's our reparations. "Not until the fourth generation will your descendants return here." Sin is still a thriving business among the Amorites. But how long before he returns? How long do we have to endure this? God tells Abram in Genesis 15:13 through 16, "Know this, your descendants will live as outsiders in a land not theirs. They'll be enslaved and beaten down for 400 years. Then I'll punish your slave masters. Your offspring will march out of there loaded with goods. But not until the fourth generation will your descendants return here." We are currently in the fourth generation. 100 years equals one generation. And 1619 to 2019 is 4 generations. We are the fourth generations. And suddenly in 2017, all hell broke loose. Sun, moon, and stars displayed signs and wonders. The earth and sea in an uproar. Hurricane Henry, Irma, and Maria in 2017. Notice how it spells out him. H-I-M. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years." It started in April 2014 with the blood moons. Then the solar eclipse on 8/21/2017. In 2024, another solar eclipse is scheduled. Will the two eclipses X out the United States of America? Because the eclipse from 2017 and the eclipse in 2024 actually puts a big X right in the middle of the map of the United States of America. There are great signs in the Bible, but Revelation 12 refers to a great sign. The Revelation 12 celestial woman in labor pain is the most detailed astronomical sign recorded in the entire Bible, and may be the greatest sign in the sky since Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden. It's likely to be fulfilled in 2017. The woman, her son, and the dragon, Revelation 12, the prophecy. A great sign appeared in heaven. A woman dressed all in sunlight, standing on the moon and crowned with 12 stars. She was giving birth to a child and cried out in the pain of childbirth. And then another sign alongside the first, a huge and fiery dragon. It had 7 heads and 10 horns, a crown on each of the 7 heads. With one flick of its tail, it knocked a third of the stars from the sky and dumped them on earth. The dragon crouched before the woman in childbirth, poised to eat up the child when it came. The woman gave birth to a son who will shepherd all nations with an iron rod. Her son was seized and placed safely before God on his throne. The woman herself escaped to the desert, to a place of safety prepared by God. All comforts provided her for 1,260 days. How many years and months is 1,260 days? It's actually 3.5 years. And I look at 2017 to June 2020 is actually 3.5 years with President Trump in office. Okay? So that's part of that time, times, and half a time. Okay? Mentioned in Daniel and Revelation to be references to represent a period of 1,260 years based on the 360-day Jewish year multiplied by 3.5. Now, as you can see, the Jewish Bible or the Jewish year is 360 days. We're 365, right? Okay. Wow. On September 23rd, 2017, the Revelation 12 prophecy, the great sign, was fulfilled. This sign actually, the great sign this actually appeared in the heavenlies. It was mind-boggling. Wormwood from Revelation 8:10, also known as planet Nibiru, or as NASA named it, Oumuamua, entered Earth's atmosphere. This really freaked them out because they were actually saying this is the first time that an interstellar planet had entered Earth's atmosphere that they were aware of. And this happened on October 19, 2017. Again, all the stuff that's lining up in the Word all happened in 2017, right before our 2 years, right before our 400 years were up. But what does Revelation 8:10 say about wormwood or Nibiru? The third angel trumpeted, a huge star, blazing like a torch, fell from heaven, wiping out a third of the rivers and a third of the springs. The star's name was wormwood. A third of the water turned bitter, and many people died from the poisoned water. Now, this just hit me, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this on here so it can be recorded. I was just reading, it was probably on one of the NASA websites, where something that looked just like Nibiru or Oumuamua has re-entered the Earth's atmosphere. And they were trying to, they thought that it had left, but they're really not sure. It's like they can't keep up with it, okay? But if all of this is happening and there is, okay, so today is, I'm going to say this again, guys. Today is Thursday, June 11th, 2020. Okay. All right. There is a astronomical, no, what is it? It's an asteroid event that is scheduled to take place the third week of June, which would put that roughly around the week of next week, the week of the 14th. Okay, because Monday would be the first, and yeah, so that would put that between the week of the 14th or the week of the 21st, just to give us some leeway there. Asteroid event is supposed to hit. Could be that Wormwood or that Nibiru, because it's gonna many people are gonna die, and it's gonna poison the waters. We shall see. Okay, but I just got that nudge. That's who that is. And again, okay, there is Draco, the dragon, from, this is dated 11/2017. So that's right around the time that Nibiru, right? Then a virus hit in February 2020. It apparently started in Wuhan, China, killing thousands. The virus, COVID-19 or the coronavirus, killed thousands in Europe, creating a pandemic. When it hit the United States in March, the powers that be agreed to shut down businesses, schools, colleges, universities, and all major sporting events. Here's the number of deaths in countries with confirmed deaths and more than 100 cases. So those are the number of cases. Now this was early. This was March 6, 2020. Source here is John Hopkins from Business Insider. Okay? So it looks very, very conservative. Well, guess what? Again, that was March 6th. Then the whole world was ordered to shelter in place, mandatory lockdown. You could only get out to get essentials like food, toilet paper, that type of stuff, unless your job was classified essential. You had limited domestic travel and international travel suspended. And even if you did travel, you had to make sure that you distance yourself between your fellow passengers due to our new social distancing rules. Okay? So things are definitely changing. Now, they shut down everything, including sports. Is this the beginning of the great wealth transfer? No NFL, no Major League Baseball, no National Hockey League, no National Basketball Association. No players were playing ball, no owners were getting paid. Okay? Everybody was in mandatory lockdown. Today is June 11th. We're just now really beginning to open things up. This is just how it's weird it's been, okay? NBA stadium, nope, no basketball. I'm so glad these young men got a chance to heal. No shopping. Only grocery stores were open. So again, you could only get what you needed as essentials, okay? Which was basically food and paper products. Okay? No dining out. Most major restaurants did eventually close down around April because if you could not dine in, again, because of the social distancing rules, you couldn't dine in because you had to be so far apart. So they shut that down. Most restaurants did decide to just do carry out only, but a lot of them were having a hard time because nobody was having any money. People were afraid to go out. There was no clubbing, no dating. No way. Young people were losing their minds. Within 90 days, over 100,000 U.S. citizens had died from the coronavirus. 90 days, guys. Like I said, this thing hit that we really knew about, I say March. Okay, March, April, May, June. It was less than 90 days, actually. By June 1st, 2020, over 40 million Americans have filed for unemployment benefits. It is over 40 million Americans out of work. They are predicting, basically, you're hearing this every day, that a lot of those jobs will not be back. If you have ears to hear, and if you have a spirit of discernment, you'll understand exactly what the Most High is doing. Okay? People, it hasn't been this many people out of work since the Great Depression from 1920, 1921, 1922. And remember, that was after the 1919 pandemic. So, this is also the year for re-election. We do have presidential election scheduled for November of 2020. And President Donald Trump is going for his re-election. When this first hit in February, when we started hearing rumblings about a virus, for sure, I would say for sure March. I want to say I didn't really pay attention until about March when I started kind of feeling sick. And President Trump decided to say it was a hoax and it was something that the Democrats cooked up to destroy his upcoming election. Okay? Then once he decided that, okay, people are really getting sick, this is really something, he decided to call it we're at war with an invisible enemy. And he was absolutely right. This was a spirit being used by the Most High to bring down the United States of America. And I just believe that. So that, because they're going to let his people go. Okay? So the U.S. government promised to issue its stimulus checks to individuals and families of $1,200. So if you earn $75,000 a year or less, you got a payment of $1,200, and that's just one payment. Okay, now remember, everything's been shut down since March. Okay, so they can't tell you can't go to work. We don't know when you can, but we're going to give you $1,200 to sustain yourself until we figure things out. Okay, if you were a married couple who earned $150,000 a year or less, you received a payment of $2,400. And if you have children, additional $500 per child was also sent to you. Again, today is June 11th, 2020, and if I'm not mistaken, I recently read that there are still millions of people that are still waiting for those checks. Okay? Now, that's just with the personal family checks. Now, for those that own small businesses, they decided to give out loans, but a majority of the small business loan applicants in the U.S. haven't received funds yet. This was as of April the 17th, and this information, the source from this is from Business Insider Intelligence, okay, April 2020 report. 80% of people were still waiting, many not knowing where they are in the process. Okay. However, 20% submitted applications that have been fully processed with funds deposited in the borrower's account. Guess who most of those businesses were and companies? Nike, uh, Los Angeles Lakers, Walmart. You had these big business, major corporations taking advantage of these loans and getting them. They were in their accounts with, you see, their funds were deposited in the borrower's account. Everybody else still waiting. Time is up. Most High says, let my people go. Okay? But like I said, the money promised to the people in April didn't arrive until mid-May. people began to protest. They were refusing to shelter in place. They wanted their jobs back because they were broke. They couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't get anything done. They wanted their jobs back. Broke and unemployed, thousands who never needed assistance before showed up at food banks to feed their families. They refused to quarantine and wear masks. They wanted their freedom back. And this young lady here, caught a lot of grief for a sign that says muzzles are for dogs and slaves. I am a free human being. The reason why they felt that way is because after the virus really broke out in the United States around April of 2020, all of a sudden the media were started doing the reports every hour, on the hour, every media station saying, oh, black people are dying at very high rates from this virus. Oh, it's really decimating the black community. Now, I have to admit, I do have someone that I know that apparently just passed away, but this woman had a lot of health issues, okay? Um, so while we're hearing, uh-oh, they're trying to say that we got this stuff and they're gonna want to test on us, right? Gonna use us as guinea pigs. That's what black Americans heard, especially the ones that are associated with me, because I was pretty much sounding the alarm. Oh, okay, hold on. Then don't get me wrong. I know that if you have health issues, if just like they said, if you are black, and if the United States catches a cold, we catch pneumonia. Okay, but again, it's a lot of us, and this is what I love about this new generation, this young generation. They're really, really taking care of themselves. They're not taking all this medication that these doctors are pumping in us. We see now that they don't like us. Why would you take something that you don't know nothing about from somebody that says, I'm your doctor and I say you need it? Most blacks don't even get a second opinion. Then you wonder why you suffer such high rates of medical issues. Ugh. Okay, but anyway, that's a whole nother video. So black folks heard that. Okay, now they want to, turn us into guinea pigs and test their new vaccine on us. What white people heard, however, was, oh, so it's affecting them. It's not affecting us. Besides, I'm healthy. I go to the gym. I'm healthy. This is not going to affect me, because you heard a lot of them getting on TV talking about. But a mask is not good for you. You're holding in air when you should actually be breathing that air out. Basically, they were saying muzzles and masks are for dogs and slaves. I am a free human being. Okay, so you see them out there protesting, no masks, they're not doing this distancing. Okay. Right. Like I said, they want everything back open. Okay. Now, this is all before Memorial Day. Even Walt Disney World, all of them, all the facilities were shut down. Your job or your health. But even big businesses was getting tired of not making money. And they didn't care about the employees contracting the virus and infecting their families. They wanted their companies open. Get these people back to work. Concerned about the upcoming 2020 election, the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, assures the media and public that everything is fine. Like I said, at first he was like, oh, it's just a hoax. It's just the Democrats trying to, maybe lose the election. But then once he realized that, oh my God, there's something really here, he put together a corona medical team, research team, so that they could keep us updated, especially after New York Governor Andrew Cuomo started doing daily updates on the air. President Trump, who wasn't doing any of that, decided to go ahead and start doing that on the air with his medical team. And he had Dr. Is it Antonio Fauci and Dr. Burke. Unfortunately, I do not know Dr. Burke's first name, female doctor. Both, both of them on his team, both highly respected, great credentials. Okay. So after President Trump decides, okay, you know what, there's something to this. I got my team together. Let's see what we can do to get a vaccine in, start taking some hydrochloroquine or something, this pill that he likes. He said, we just need to get this country back open because now all of a sudden the economy that he was going to run his re-election campaign on, because it was a really good economy, is now in the toilet. Okay, it's 40 million people out of work. Unemployment rate is like 14%. And a lot of these companies are rethinking how many of these people they want to hire back, especially since they got all this money from the government. They want to put that in their pocket. It's going to be a mess. You hear me saying this on June 11th, 2020. Okay, it's going to be a mess, but they were ready to get these people back to work. So doing a press briefing, a live press briefing, President Trump turned to Dr. Burke, who was sitting off to the side, and he looked at her and he said she's one of his team physicians. He asked her if citizens could inject themselves with disinfectant to get rid of the virus. He heard that that was a good way to get rid of the virus. To inject themselves with disinfectant. Okay. Again, this is one reason why I wanted to make this historical record, because my grandson probably telling his grandson about this, when he says the president wanted to told people to inject themselves with this, he's gonna look at him like he's crazy. Yeah, it actually happened. Yeah. And there was a big outcry after Trump suggested injecting disinfectant as treatment. Oh my goodness. Again, historical record. But what does the word say about ending the stay home directive? Is it time for us to really just say, you know what? Wash your hands, keep your distance, keep your mask on, and get back out there. What does the word say, though? Because, you know, when you are the child of God, you want to see what he says about this. So I asked him, and he always finds a way to send me the answer. I'm going to be real honest with you. I can't remember what I was looking at the other day. This was before Memorial Day. But I had posted that information on my social media pages because they were again, everybody was talking about when they're going to start opening everything up, you know, because the people were protesting some kind of way. But that's my daddy. He'll get it to you. So this scripture ended up in front of me. Isaiah 26. Chapter verse 21 and 20 and 21. So Isaiah chapter 26 verse 21. Go home, my people, and lock your doors. Hide yourselves for a little while until the Lord's anger has passed. Look, the Lord is coming from heaven to punish the people of the earth for their sins. The earth will no longer hide those who have been killed. They will be brought out for all to see. Now, the last time Most High told people to go home and lock their doors and hide themselves was the Exodus. Remember that? When Moses was telling Pharaoh, let my people go. And Pharaoh kept saying no. And so Most High told Moses, he said, tell the Israelites to get some blood, put it on their doorposts, keep their butt in, do not come out. No matter what you hear, no matter what you see, darkness passed over Egypt. But it was light in the house of the Israelites. And that night, firstborns of all the Egyptians ended up dying. Remember that? See, this is why you got to know that word. This is exactly where we are now. There was a New York. When I read this, shortly after I read this, I read where George Steinbrenner's son had passed away. It's his oldest son. It's right as long as not too like the next day after I got this word. I was like, wow. So I started telling my people on social media, stay home. Do not get, do not go out. Stay in as much as possible. Okay? Because when anytime the Most High tells you to go in and lock your doors, evil is out. Evil is on the loose. Okay? And like he said, he's coming down here. The Most High is coming from heaven to punish the people of the earth for their sins. And who have they sinned against more than us? Okay? The earth will no longer hide those who have been killed. They will be brought out for all to see. Let me show you what happened next. This is the honest God truth. Tragedy strikes on Memorial Day, Monday, May 25th, 2020. As you can see in this picture on your right, that Minnesota Police Department officer Derek Chauvin kneeled on the neck of citizen George Floyd, killing him in broad daylight for the world to see. Mr. George had went to go get, again, we're in the middle of a pandemic. They're just not telling people we can go out. He went to a corner store to buy something. A store owner apparently thought he was using a counterfeit $20 bill. $20. They called the police. This man, Officer Chauvin, arrives along with 3 people that he's training. This is what happens to this man. He doesn't even make it into the police car. He doesn't even make it to the station. Look how casually he has his hand in his pocket as he puts his knee to this man's neck, listening to him crying for help, saying that he can't breathe, calling for his mama, knowing that he's dying. Okay, now check this out. A 17-year-old female is actually videotaping this. He's threatening to arrest her, but she continues to stand her ground. And she's threatening this, and she's just horrified watching this man die. Another bystander, I want to say she was an RN or EMT, asked him, "Sir, officer, can I just check his pulse just to make sure he's okay?" He told her no. Then another officer, a while later, I guess, checked his pulse and told him he's not breathing. He didn't even get his knee off of him then. He kept his knee on him. So can I tell you something? Guess what we just found out maybe 2 days after this happened? Because that looks personal like as hell to me, right? These two used to work together. These two used to work as bouncers together in a club in Minnesota. Everybody loved George Floyd. They said he was a nice guy. They said Derek Chauvin, the police officer, was a total dick. Even the owner said that, especially with people of color. But she kept him on because she said he was one of the best police officers in the bunch. How horrible is that? So it's not that he did not know this man. He knew he used to work with him. CBS, Gayle King spoke to a young man that used to work with them the other day. So let's see, the day is Thursday. I want to say she did this Wednesday. He told her on the air that not only did they know each other, they did not like each other because George knew that Derek was a piece of shit, especially dealing with people of color. And he actually had this friend, this guy that Gayle King was interviewing, to deal with Derek because he didn't want to. And so he knew exactly who this man was. So this was premeditated murder. Now, don't get me wrong, when he pulled up, until he saw George, he probably wasn't planning on killing somebody. But when he saw George and realized he had an opportunity to do it, these are people. I want you to think about this, guys. Look at this man's demeanor. He don't give a shit. These are people we go to for medical, dental, trust our kids with, in schools and churches. That's why the Most High said, don't trust a man. Don't put your faith in man. Because you don't know their heart. I don't care what they look like. The Most High knows their heart. And everybody talks about this man, how good George Floyd is. But you know he's got to be a good man, because you know what? Where's my the word says the Lord will make your name great. Okay, and everybody in the world will know your name. And exactly what happened on May the 23rd, before Memorial Day. I had no clue who George Floyd is. Today, I'm doing a videotape about the death of this young man. And I'm just devastated. Because I'm going to be honest with you, as a woman, even though I'm in my 60s, that's everything that I like in a man, just the way that man looks. It's just, it's devastating to me. Because I've always said, because I had an uncle that when I was 13, he used to teach me a lot of the stuff that a lot of our people don't know about, because he was into the Black Panthers and what was really going on. And, and not trying to, my parents were just trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? They just liked the fact that they had a job, they had a car, they had a house, they had kids that were going to school. They was just trying to grab that American dream. Everything else they refused to look at and ignore, because they didn't want to get off focus. They didn't want to mess up what they thought was security. But that wasn't really secure, though, was it? As we're seeing now, 40 million people out of work. Okay, don't start your own business. Always work for somebody. Get you a regular paycheck and some health insurance and possibly a pension. Those don't even happen anymore. Don't even get me started with the 401ks. Okay. But so yeah, the world is outraged. This young lady's video, 17-year-old, the videotaped this. It went viral and the world went crazy. New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, England, everybody in Netherlands, everybody's protesting. And then this is why you know it's God. Racism against blacks is protested around the world, guys. I've never seen anything like this. And again, you got to remember all the people that we've had killed, but the Most High had to shut everything down so that these pieces of shit could all get brought to justice. Because of the protest, all 4 officers involved are charged with second-degree murder for killing George Floyd. This Derek, the one who knelt on his neck, was actually training the other 3 cops. I'm assuming he was a training supervisor. But these had been officers before. He was just training them because they were in Minnesota. They had been officers before. They knew better. And even if you didn't, where's your humanity? Where's your common sense? Where's your morals? You had none. You didn't deserve to be police officers, but you definitely deserve to be charged with second-degree murder. No job is that important that you sit there and watch this man purposely take this man's life for no reason. He wasn't even charged. To this day, y'all still don't even know if that was a fake $20 bill. That argument, ain't nobody even talked about that. Okay? But why are blacks all over the world being killed? Because it's not just here in America. We're seeing this in Europe. We're seeing this in Paris. We're seeing this all over the world. And it's been going on for a couple of years. Look at what we're looking at. 2014, 15, 16, 16, 2012. Remember, we are the 4th generation. God said to Abram, know this, your descendants will live as outsiders in a land not theirs. They'll be enslaved and beaten down for 400 years. I'm sorry, guys, that's not the Ashkenazi Jews that are over there in Israelite, the Japheths that are sitting in our land. We are the Shemites, not the Semites. As see, they did a play on words, semantics there. We're not the Semites. We are the Shemites, Shem, mites. One of Noah's sons. He had 3 sons. Remember, when Noah built the ark, he had Japheth, who was actually over the He's Edom. He's Arab. And then no, Japheth is actually the Turkey people up the Khazarians. Then you've got Canaan, no, Ham, who is the father of Canaan, and those are the Africans, not the Negroes. The Negroes are Shem, Shem, Shem's descendants. And it would tell you, if you look that up, it will say Shem's descendants are Negroes, not the Africans. The Africans are the Libyans, Egyptians, um, the Moroccans, those people. But the Negroes are the true Judah tribe. We are the tribe of Judah. Okay? And people are waking up to that knowledge. I just really woke up and accepted myself not too long ago. Okay? Hebrew by blood, Israelite by nationality, African American by slavery, but not until the fourth generation will your descendants return here. So again, this is where we are. This is why we're seeing all of this turmoil. But look at the Most High. He's done a new thing. Okay? That's why we know something's up. This is why we know it's our time. He's done a new thing. All of a sudden now you've got people that used to say black lives didn't matter and now saying no, all lives matter. I was so taken aback and surprised when Anna Wintour, the editor of Vogue magazine, actually wrote an op-ed saying that she knows that she has been unfair and just cruel to her employees of color. They know that they don't promote us. They know they don't pay us enough. That's why I enjoy when a couple months ago, like was that last year, 19, when the white lady got busted for getting drunk and or high. I think she was high, messing with the two sisters who were waiting on AAA to come help them with their car, and she was messing with them on the parking lot, talking about you don't belong here, you don't make enough money to live here. Do you know how much I work for Spectrum? Do you know how much money I make? I make $125,000 a year. I busted out laughing because that was their way. Because I've always known this. This is why I've always had my own business. Yeah, I've had to work because I raised myself by myself, but I always had my own. That's why I was able to retire early. But they know that they pay them way more than they pay us. You can be you could be a college graduate with a bachelor's and a master's degree and have a white friend that only has a GED and he makes more money than you. I know this personally. Okay? Seen it all the time. Okay? Right. And usually when they've given a person of color a title and a position, they've downgraded that salary big time. You're definitely not getting what the Caucasian got before you or the one that's coming after you. This is how they've always played that game. And this is why the Most High says, okay, we're in the fourth generation now. So I'm going to pull that back up. Oh, I can't go back. Oh, because I'm recording. Okay. So that's why he said, 400 years is up. And we will march out of here loaded with the enemy's goods. That's that wealth transfer. Because for years we have done the scrunch, just like how they used our free labor, or what do they say, agricultural, for their sugar and cotton and all other things they needed slaves to take care of because the white folks didn't want to do it. And the industrial, because most of the slaves built the White House and most of the infrastructure of the United States. Didn't get paid for it. And then when you do allow us to work with y'all, you still paying them more than you pay us. That's okay. The Most High says You will march out of there loaded with the enemy's goods. Big wealth transfer. Okay? Big wealth transfer. Praise your name, Yah. But the enemy also knows we are the generation and that the transfer is on the horizon because the violence and hatred against black people has increased. No matter the age, their mission to kill as many of the Most High's people before Yahweh's return. And there's a long, painful history of police brutality in the U.S. And it still continues as they arrest this man who's just sitting there basically live on TV as he's doing his job. Yeah, the enemy will use these people who have no heart to do his bidding and kill the seed of the Most High. But how did that happen? Did the enemy have a plan? Yes. Hire the seed of Satan as cops. What? The FBI warned of white supremacists and law enforcement in 2016. Has anything changed? It says here 10 years ago, but this is an older graphic. But this happened in 2016. So in the 2006 bulletin, the FBI detailed the threat of white nationalists and skinheads infiltrating police in order to disrupt investigations against fellow members and recruit other supremacists. The bulletin was released during a period of scandal for many law enforcement agencies throughout the country, including a neo-Nazi gang formed by members of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department who harassed Black and Latino communities. Similar investigations revealed officers and entire agencies with hate group ties in Illinois, Ohio, and Texas. Did you hear that? Not only officers, but entire agencies filled with Ku Klux Klan members or neo-Nazi groups. So why was CNN journalist Omar Jimenez arrested while broadcasting live on CNN during the George Floyd protests? They knew this man. I'm going to tell you exactly why they did it. They knew he had did nothing wrong, but he was black, and they had to let him know who was in charge. So the first thing they wanted to do was to embarrass him live on CNN, global news. You're going to sit there and arrest a black man who is just sitting there, who is actually interacting with you, broadcasting live about this, trying to keep everybody safe, and you just arrest him for no reason. So that was the first reason why you did it, was to arrest him and to embarrass him. Because this officer actually called his superior to find out how should I handle this. Now, it was another white CNN reporter, Josh Campbell, also over there with his crew. But they were hanging and chilling with him. They didn't have no problem with him. But Omar and his crew, what do I do with this guy? It's a black guy. Oh, he's black? Oh, well, fuck it. Just arrest him. That's exactly what they did. Arrest his ass. You know? Bring his ass. Arrest his ass on live TV. Parade his ass on there. So we can embarrass him. That's the first thing we want to do. Second thing we want to do is we want to put a warning out to all the other niggas that are watching this. We don't give a shit what kind of degree you have. If you're president of the United States, if you're the black attorney general, you're still beneath us. And we can handcuff you and show you who's in charge anytime we want to. So that's just a warning to you, niggas, to stay in your place, to know your place. This is why CNN journalist Omar Jimenez was arrested while broadcasting live on CNN during the George Floyd protests. And I have reached out to everybody on social media that normally, whenever they see me posting something, you see it on the news, social media influencer, you'll see it on the news the next day. Nobody has touched this. I'm getting ready to blow this up because this is how it all starts, where they escalate the situation for no reason whatsoever. No reason this man should have been arrested. But this is how they do all of us. Are you listening? This man, a degree journalist, live on TV, is doing his job, and they are arresting him because they can, to embarrass him and to let the other black people know we don't give a shit what degree you have, how much money you make. We could treat you like this. Where's the outrage? And okay, and I have to be fair, because if I'm gonna dump on the people that did it, Omar, I've heard you talk about what happened, but you try to minimize it because I know you're embarrassed. But unfortunately, a lot of the professional blacks who have this happen to them, just like they're anybody else, and probably even more because, they drive better cars. Their vehicles are more modern, very, very nice luxury vehicles. So I know here in St. Louis, a lot of the rappers and the people that, like Nelly and the St. Lunatics, they've had problems with the police because they're driving better cars than the police officers have. They don't like that shit. They do not like that. And so knowing that they haven't committed any crime and knowing who they are, because guess what? If I have a license plate on my car and I see you behind me for the last 10 minutes, I know you done ran my plates and you know exactly who the fuck I am. I'm 62 years old, guys. This just happened to me, 2 years ago? I was right. I live over here by the airport, right by a big, really nice elementary school, and I don't know where I was going that morning because I'm retired. I can't remember where I was going, but anyway, I think I was going to Schnucks, to the store. So it was in the fall, so kids were going to school, and so there was a cop parked in the lot of one of the driveways of the school. The police officer there, and the lady, the school crossing guard, because my mom, before she passed, after she retired, she was a school crossing guard. So I used to always wave it at her, and she's also a neighbor because I literally live right around the corner from the airport. And so I looked over and I saw that it was a white officer, a female officer, and I usually see the white male officer, but I just kind of nodded and waved over to her too. That bitch pulled out behind me and followed me for about 10 minutes. I turned her in, and I have not seen her ass since. But see, you got a lot of black people that won't do this, like Omar. They get embarrassed and like, I can't believe that happened to me. Don't they know who I am? I got a degree. I done did everything that they said I'm supposed to do. I done pulled myself up by the bootstraps, and they still treat me like they treat these fucking niggas in the street that ain't got shit. I'm too embarrassed. I can't turn. I went to the station and turned her ass in. Do you hear me? This is what we're going to have to do, guys. Okay? Because as long as they know that it embarrasses you or it terrifies you, because see, this enemy, this principality that we're dealing with now is that spirit of fear. It's out and it's about. And I always bind that. You have to keep binding it to keep it at bay. Because like I said, the enemy knows his time is short. The Most High, we might not even see the election. We might be gone. Praise your name. Praise your name, God. Woo! And why would I be happy? I've been here for 62 years. The very first big death that I can remember at the age of 5 in 1963 was President John F. Kennedy getting killed by, let's keep it real, our government. Okay? That was in 63. Then 5 years later, I'm about to turn 10. As a matter of fact, right before my 10th birthday, because it happened in April, my birthday, April the 24th, boom, they killed Martin Luther King. Malcolm X. Then here come Robert Kennedy. I'm like, that? So I've seen this, you know? And like I said, we were used to the big people getting killed. Then they start killing people. My little cousin got killed. More people that I knew got killed. Then here come 2012. You got Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown. And then it just, Sandra Bland. Then it got to be the point where it was almost like every day it was somebody getting killed by the police. And nobody giving a crap. Nobody giving a crap. Okay? Oh, okay. And the Dr. Burks that President Trump has on his team is Dr. Deborah Burks. Well, as I'm recording this, they just popped her up on the TV. But all of a sudden, right after this happened with George Floyd, now they're talking about changing the rules and tight enforce. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see what the Most High is up to. Okay? But again, I'm going to say it again. The media and Minnesota police never explained this. It's the root of the problem right here. They escalated at the time of the stop. And they do it on purpose. Okay? Make sure you catch my report, Breaking News, the Brown Report. I did a podcast about this. It's really sad. So, with all the protesting, what about the pandemic? Did they forget we were in the middle of a pandemic? There's a virus out there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm grateful to see people from, when I say all over the world, guys, I mean literally all over the world. They were protesting and and you got people that are apologizing and repenting. This is God, I'm telling you. Because see, the Gentiles have a role to play after we get up out of here. And you better know who you serve now, okay? Because that's going to be another video that I'm going to do. But thank you so much for joining me today, because I just really wanted to get this out. But like they say, how many more will become affected? Because it seemed like they forgot about the virus. Well, the CDC came out yesterday on June 10th, 2020, and said that they warned that the George Floyd protests, since they're all over the world, it may be a seeding event for more coronavirus outbreaks. And already, I'm here to tell you guys, they're already seeing it. They're already seeing more and more outbreaks. Second round. And I think, unfortunately, I'm here to prophesy that millions are going to be dead. I hate to say it, by August, September. We might not even have an election by 2020. It might not even be enough here. Or, I hate to say it, or Donald Trump be killed off his base, because they're the ones that are injecting themselves and listening to him and taking everything he tells them to do. They do. It's like, seriously. But I believe the Most High is preparing for the departure of his people from the daughter of Babylon, which of course is America in Bible prophecy. I think that's where we are today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you here next time with my next video. Thank you. This is Linda D. Brown signing off. Executive producer, Linda D. Brown. Narrated by Linda D. Brown. Production company, Spoken Word Press Publishing. You can find my books on my website, booksbylynda.com. And you can join my Patreon page and get free short stories, videos, etc. and things that I can't talk about without getting thrown off of social media. So you have to join my Patreon membership. It's $5 a month. and I'm going to be doing some things that I can't release on Amazon because I'm gonna be real honest with you. But again, we have to keep historical records for us about what's going on and how it's affecting us, because we already know, as we look at some of the things that they've hidden, destroyed, deceived us about. They don't want us to know. Okay. So to get to my Patreon page, go to www.patreon, which is P as in Peter, A-T as in Tom, REON.com/Alynda, Lynda, D as in David, Brown like the color, Author, Author. Okay. All right. You can download your free copy of my powerful prayer to protect and bless your family, because I think that we need this, especially every true believer of the Most High. I want you to download this free copy. I've been giving it away free ever since, I think, around the first of the year, because I just follow the Most High, because He's blessed me. Ooh, I can't even tell you how the Most High has blessed me. But click below on the link below that this is a clickable link on this video. Also, if you go to booksbylynda.com, you'll be able to, if you have the video, you'll be able to download the ebook. This is going to also be in an ebook format. Okay. And when I say this, I mean this stars, not this one. Okay, and what in the world is going on? Read how biblical events foretold hundreds of years ago are happening right now. The Invisible Enemy series, written by Lynda D. Brown. So again, you can get the individual books. Okay, they're available. Go to Amazon.com, and to get the actual physical paperback book, I won't have them in stock until after the virus is over, to see, because you can't get anything shipped in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm just doing the digital download. So if you want the digital downloads, you can do them individually, or you can do the collection. Okay, because I have it also in a collection where you get all three books, or again, you can get them one at a time. Okay. All right. And then also great for first-time authors. From 2011 to 2017, I produced and hosted the Author Chat Show podcast. Was a show dedicated to helping first-time authors promote and market their books. So you can also go to booksbylynda.com and get either the individual ebooks, or you can also get the